The news begins in Nigeria, where President Bola Tinubu has assured the international business community that Nigeria is ready for serious business as his administration will deal decisively with anyone who undermines investor confidence in the Nigerian economy. Tinubu also urged Qatari investors to report any Nigerian government official who asks for bribe while pledging to remove bottlenecks standing in the way of profitable and legitimate enterprise. The Nigerian leader, along with the Emir of the State of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, witnessed the signing of 7 agreements between both nations after closed-door talks at the Presidential Palace in Doha. The agreements bordered around enterprise development, mining, education, sports, investment, promotion, tourism, and youth empowerment. In the same vein, the Nigerian government has warned that businesses that violate the new regulation on expatriate employment levies will be fined 3 million naira for each infraction. The infractions include failing to file an expatriate employment levy, failing to register an employee, failing to renew an expatriate employment levy within 30 days, and giving misleading information about an expatriate employment levy. And financial contribution, known as the expatriate employment levy, is levied against employers who engaged foreign labor. By guaranteeing fair contributions from foreign employment, the levy, which is mostly levied on the offshore earnings of foreign workers in Nigeria, aims to strike a balance between workforce development and economic growth. We're being joined by Nelson Ekujimi, political affairs analyst, to discuss this topic. Hello, Nelson. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, Nelson, let's talk about the objective of the expatriate employment levy. How does the EEL achieve its goal, and what criteria would you say determines the eligibility?
Well, I think the policy is a step in the right direction because, one, it will limit the influx of foreign nationals for jobs that can be done by Nigerians here. And in that way, the Nigerian worker who is qualified to perform those jobs will be able to earn as much as, likely to be offered to foreign nationals. Then secondly, it will also save the drain on our forex. Because if somebody is working outside his homeland, it is natural that at the end of the month, maybe at the end of the year or at any point in time, we want to repatriate, his funds home for whatever purposes his desire, maybe to take care of his aged parents or family or emergency, at his own front. So this policy of expatriate levy will go a long way to discourage, employers who, acts as a drain on our forex in the sense that they will be able to concentrate more on local manpower. So for me, this policy is a step in the right direction.
All right, Nelson, but what are the potential effects of this levy on workforce development in Nigeria and, its impact as well to the economic growth of Nigeria?
Oh, the impact of the levy is that once you have been caught pants down for violating the laws of the land, you and I know what it means. There's also the likelihood, maybe as the days go by, that policy or that law could be reviewed to even mean, expulsion, that is, deportation of such a foreign national. And you and I know what it means when you have been implicated in a wrongdoing. It tells on your credibility. It tells on your image, even when you want to do business. Because I'm sure no business outfit or institution, is an island on its own. It interfaces with others, and when you get that bad image, it affects your, your credibility. I'm talking about economic growth. Oh, the benefits are numerous. If government, incurs levies on, generate levies on institutions for breaking the laws of the land. You and I know what those levies are for. Those levies are, going to the national treasury, for the development of the country. So it's a policy that will not be cast in gold as the days go by. One is optimistic that we will also have reviews, to fine tune it, to global best practices, such that if you are caught, maybe if you are caught twice or thrice, you face stiffer penalties. It is not enough to just say 3 million naira. If you have been caught 4 or 5 times, people will be collecting money from you. Definitely, you have become, an economic saboteur, if you ask me.
All right, now, Nelson, still talking about, its impact. Now, what about diplomatic missions? How does it impact it? And, how does it also impact government officials and international agencies?
Well, it's a global standard that every country, as a member of the global community, acts its own local laws. And because of because of the interface between countries on the global scale, it is expected that wherever you find yourselves, you must conform, with the laws of the land. And if you run foul of the laws of the land and you have been made to go through the, adjudication process, I know no country will frown at that. Rather, if your country feels, this implication of an organization from a place, is not, legitimate enough or is not logical enough, they can, avail you, judicial, help. But no country in the world, operates without laws. Even in the international stage, there are international laws. And those laws are meant, to conform member states, to behave according to those laws. So it does not have any effect on our diplomatic image or our diplomatic relations with any other country, because even if Nigerian companies go out there to do business, they're expected to conform with the laws of the land there.
That's very right, and it's actually important to know. But then, just before we let you go, now speak to us on the process for remitting the levy. What role does the Nigerian Immigration Service play in EEL compliance, and how does the government plan to ensure equitable contributions? Some people have actually talked about, online portals, or specific documentations that might be required to verify information submitted by these expatriates and the employers.
Well, like I stated earlier on, I recognize that this system will be operated by human beings. And those human errors are not, are not things you can rule out. There's no perfect system anyway. But I believe strongly that as much as the Nigerian Immigration Service will be in charge, I'm also optimistic. I've not seen the law or the regulations. I'm also optimistic that the Federal Ministry of Finance will also have its idea such that there will not be hanky-panky. In that way, we'll be able to ensure judicious, dispensation of justice with regards to whoever has been implicated and the fines, to ensure that it goes into the national treasury rather than being diverted. So one hopes that as the days go by, that Nigerians and the Nigerian government, will put its eyes on the ball and ensure that things go smoothly. But it is not unexpected that in the implementation of this law, we might start seeing some shortcomings, and it is expected that the law will be fine-tuned, to conform to realities of the moment as the days go by.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Nelson Ekujimi, for joining me on the news and speaking on this.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, away from that story, the Senate is set to question officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria concerning the acquisition and expenditure of 30 trillion naira ways and means loan by the federal government during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. This was made known by Senator Isah Jibrin, who was recently appointed as the chairman of the ad hoc committee tasked with probing the controversial loan, which was disbursed by former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. Jibrin said the committee wants to uncover how the funds were utilized, the beneficiaries, and the terms and conditions attached to the loans. He assured that the investigation is not about witch hunting, but ensuring transparency and accountability. The Ways and Means loan is typically utilized to address budget deficits or national emergencies subject to executive approval and parliamentary ratification. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Agricultural and Rural Development Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration has confirmed the looting of its warehouse in Dede earlier by residents in the FCT who took advantage of the economic hardship gripping the nation to raid facility. Now speaking to newsmen, spokesperson for the ARD Secretariat, Zakari Aliyu, revealed that the secretary had inspected the warehouse earlier only to find it completely ransacked by looters who also vandalized the building, stripping it of its roofs and windows. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency has clarified that reports of its warehouse being looted in Abuja are false. In a statement signed by the agency's head of information unit, Manzo Ezekiel, he noted that NEMA's Director General, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, has instructed heightened security measures at the agency's zonal offices and warehouses nationwide to prevent any security breaches. In Gamborungala, a border community in Nigeria's Borno state, farmers are defying all odds to pursue irrigation farming. Undeterred by the numerous challenges they face, the farmers are committed to improving food security. News Central's Umaru Kirawa tells us more in this report.
Dusty, rough and untarred road to Gamborungala, Nigeria's border community with the Republic of Cameroon, is a story for another day. Irrigation farming has become a lifeline for these farmers who understand the need to combat the unpredictable weather patterns that greatly affect rain-fed agriculture in the region. Ali Baba, a farmer in this region, spoke to us about their struggle.
Alhamdulillah, sabura ko are karmar kintura wazna kun doya solo le man bayin zuga nana sidin wazna ngo karmar tomato lembe ngo losar lembe ngo ar karmar tomato de ar ngo losar de mai amanji de sha time zum kolono de ya alhamdulillah.
The farmers here are not just cultivating crops for their own sustenance but also for commercial purposes, contributing to the economic growth of their community. Borno State Government and Nigeria's federal government, through the Victim Support Fund, are here in the hinterland Gamborungala to support the farmers with improved seed varieties, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, among others.
We have also worked with the Borno State government as they went back to clear the land for the farmers, to make sure there are water sources where we are going. So today we are giving the input knowing that as they go back, there is land, there is water, there are extension workers providing services to support them. Then one of the things we are also doing moving forward is to support them through the farming season. At the end of it, we are also linking them to markets.
Apart from Gamborungala, we have also proposed Wulgo and Dambore, whereby funds are already released. Any moment we are going to mobilize to site. We are having in Lomane, Dikwa, Mafa, and we are having drip irrigation system installation ongoing in Magumeri and Kondaga, Bokweri of Kondaga, Kulunam of Magumeri. We have totally resuscitated Javi irrigation scheme, whereby right now we are piloting more than 100 hectares, and we are hoping to pilot more than 1,000 hectares.
Ala kungiya shida furo sate, victim support fund ya furo sate, ala amkura dia furo sate, ala kurman bana gade kurman anda taksakalan.
Some of the interviewed 1,800 farmers were delighted with the intervention as it will help them to do more.
Bana yankin mu nan kam gaskiya zamu yi noma sosai. Bare ga shi taki an bamu da komai kuma ga jami'an tsaro. Kaga yi kuma ga yanayin da muke cikin na tsadan abinci. Ya zama dole ne ma mu tashi mu noma.
Za ku yi mamakin Allah ya yarda. Allah ya taimake mu, Allah ya ba mu damuna mai albarka.
That is our delight, is when we come in and we see the end product of the work that we are doing, that lives have changed and communities are back and they are restored again. We are often delighted. So for us, it's an extremely exciting moment.
The hope now for the farmers here in Nigeria's border community of Gamborungala with the Republic of Cameroon is to put all these equipment and fertilizers into proper use under a secured environment for enhanced productivity. In Gamborungala local government area of Borno State, for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
The federal government of Nigeria plans to query non-performing power distribution companies worried by the worsening power supply. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, who summoned the chief executives of Abuja Electricity Distribution Company and Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, talked tough about the deteriorating electricity supply. Adelabu said willful non-performance by any disco could suffice as a reason for severe punishment or outright license revocation. The minister is to meet with the discos next week, while the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, has also been summoned over the deteriorating power supply. Earlier, we were joined on the news by Akim Fatunke, economic analyst, who discussed this.
The problem with Nigeria, we are not talking of energy now, we're talking of power challenges, we have been oil challenges, we have security challenges, we have health challenges, we have educational challenges, is that we have not been integrated in our approach to looking at, first of all, identifying the problems. And I'm beginning to know that we really have identified the problems, but easier for us to now begin to point fingers and be looking for scapegoats. Are the discos responsible for what we have now? I don't think so. Even if they are minuscule within the value chain that we have been given, right from the energy roadmap, concessioning, and to perhaps even from about 2 regimes before now, it's been a lot of wumbling and fumbling. Transmission has not been at its best, no doubt. Is it the fault of the transmission governments also? No. We are not really looking at it integratedly.
The Minister of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory has assured residents that ongoing construction works within the city center will be completed before May 29th, which marks 1 year of the current administration. The FCT minister, during an inspection of ongoing construction works within the capital, also assured residents of President Bola Tinubu's commitment to ensuring that the contractors meet the highest possible standards. Amadin Uyi reports.
The inspection commenced from the city center. The team visited the Wuye Bridge, linking the Wuse district to the Wuye district.
This access to the sector center in which people are located. I think got somewhere around here.
Now we have finished all of the access road and only the asphalt here. If you are crossing the other side, you will see it. 85% has been finished. But we really, let me say once again, we appreciate you bring the life.
From there, the team visited the Kuje Expressway, a project expected to link the Abuja Municipal Council area to the Kuje Council area. The inspection team inspected ongoing construction of the road. The team also paid a visit to the construction of the official residence of the Vice President, and the minister gave an overview of work seen on ground.
The first site we went is one of those areas that, by the grace of God, is almost 85% ready. One of those interchanges, Wuye district, that the contractors are keeping to fit their commitment to handle by May. And then we also went to the Kuje road, which is a 6-lane road we finished. About 11 kilometers. That road from the airport road, that to Kuje will open up that area of the area council called Kuje.
He says the quality of work has been satisfactory and assured that the roads being constructed will be completed before May the 29th to mark the president's 1 year in office.
We are not going to allow any project to be abandoned. We have taken our priorities, and most of these projects are also being included in our statutory budget of 2024, which will soon be presented to the National Assembly by Mr. President when he returns from Qatar. Frankly speaking, I'm very happy of the quality and the speed with these companies are. By May, a lot of Nigerians will see the changes.
Some of the projects include resurfacing of roads, construction of new roads, and the renovation of the Vice President's apartment. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
The Commissioner of Police in Anambra State, CP Aderemi Adeoye, has issued a cautionary message to candidates participating in the police recruitment computer-based tests. Amid preparations for the upcoming examination, Adeoye emphasized the zero-tolerance stance against examination malpractice, affirming that any individual caught in such acts will face arrest, investigation, and prosecution. CP Adeoye deployed heightened security measures to monitor the examination process across designated centers in the state. This directive was disclosed in a press statement released by the state police spokesperson DSP Tochukwu Ikenga. According to the statement, the CP congratulated successful candidates who qualified for the computer-based test stage, underscoring that the recruitment process remains free of charge. The scheduled examination slated to take place between March 5th and 6th, 2024, will be held at various designated centers, including Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu University E-Library, CTR2, Igbariam, and Graphil Computers Limited in Awka. Some stakeholders in the Niger Delta region have called on the federal government to increase funding for private security outfits to safeguard the natural waterways and boost the nation's economy. These views were canvassed at Gbaramatu Kingdom of Delta State, South Nigeria, when Government Ekpemukpolo, also known as Tompolo, was honored by the Nigeria Union of Journalists and Delta Online Publishers Forum for his contributions in the war against oil theft in the Niger Delta region. News Central correspondent Austin Azu brings us details.
The war against oil bunkering in the Niger Delta region has been on for decades without significant solutions of bringing this art of economic sabotage to a halt. Search for a remedy led to the establishment of a private security outfit known as Statuta Security Services Nigeria Limited by Government Ekpemukpolo to safeguard the natural waterways and boost the nation's economy. Within the period, Statuta has made noticeable impact in the war against crude oil theft in the region, especially in recent times. Its operatives have secured the forfeiture of 2 illegal bunkering vessels to the federal government, among others. The Nigerian Union of Journalists and Delta Online Publishers Forum are here at Oporoza, the traditional headquarters of Gbaramatu Kingdom in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State, to honor Tompolo with NUJ Meritorious Award and inducted into the prestigious Niger Delta Media Hall of Fame by the online publishers.
And that's why, as the union members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, we felt it is needful. It's not just about antagonism. That's not what media activism means. You know, we are a group of people, not just governments. Private sector operators have done well. It is also our duty to appreciate same. And that's exactly what we've done. We've not come to give a governor an award, a president an award. This is a private sector-driven award we have done, you know, appreciating them for what they are doing.
At the Delta Online Publishers Forum, we have a lot of awards of different categories, but there's one that is so special. It's like a national award from Delta Online Publishers Forum, and that award is the induction of a particular achiever, a recognized someone who has, not because of his money, but because of life he had touched in one way or the other.
The Speaker of Bayelsa State House of Assembly, who identified contributions of Tatita services to the nation's economic growth, called for more funding to expand its operational base.
Appeal to the federal government to do more. The little stipend they have released to Tantita has brought peace across the Niger Delta. If they could increase the strength of releasing funds to most of these leaders who have the strength to make peace in the Niger Delta, the increase of oil production will grow, and the peace we are experiencing today as a result of contribution of Tantita will continue to increase.
In his remarks, Government Ekpemukpolo called on Nigerians to unite and work towards the advancements of the country.
I don't even have passport to travel out of this country. The only place I have to call my country is Nigeria. So I will do everything with my people to see that the production will increase. For us to have money to pay salaries, both the military and everybody.
Others emphasize the need for everyone to provide accurate information to security and sister agencies to safeguarding the nation's economy from sabotage. In Warri for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Thank you, Austin, for that report. Now, in politics, the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, says no amount of intimidation or blackmail from within the party will derail him from the assignment of galvanizing the party to success. Abure said this in Umuahia, Abia State, southeast Nigeria, at a meeting of the National Working Committee. According to him, the country deserves a better leadership, and he decried the high cost of living in the country.
We've had one crisis or the other, people being instigated within the party to make trouble with the leadership of the party. And I'm sure you are conversant with the issue of Apapa that came up. And thereafter, a lot of people within the party members have come up with one allegation or the other. And by the grace of God, we've always surmounted it, because truth, they say, will always prevail over falsehood. All the police reports on accusation of forgery and all of that have been resolved in our favor. All the police reports, like you see, they are all in the media space, have indeed exonerated us. No amount of police harassment, no amount of police intimidation will deter us from struggling for what we believe in. We believe in this cause, and that
in Nigeria, female entrepreneurs have great opportunities to excel, but however, they also face the greater number of challenges. Women business owners at an event in Lagos seized the opportunity to call for more support from the government and all relevant stakeholders to enhance their productivity and in turn aid them to contribute to the country's economy. News Central's Omolola Ololade tells us more in this report.
Efforts to enhance entrepreneurship have not fully succeeded in mitigating the effect of some of the challenges faced by women entrepreneurs in Nigeria. Nonetheless, women entrepreneurs have continued to find ways to thrive in the face of these challenges. It is on this premise that the NECA Network of Entrepreneurship Women at an award ceremony emphasized the importance of encouraging one another in spite of these challenges, while recognizing their resilience as female entrepreneurs.
In times like this, mental health is critical. It's a healthy body that can run a healthy business. So we do we take some activities to help us to relax, and also people in the health sector that can give us tips on how to keep our mental health.
However, business expert present at the event reiterated some of the challenges faced by female entrepreneurs, saying that these problems are not peculiar to women business owners alone.
A lot has been said about the African woman, but little has been done. So I'm happy that NECA New is taking the bull by the horn and moving women from just the talk level to the action level.
Whether you run in a business that is owned by a woman or by a man,
you are all exposed to the same environment. The key issue is for us to encourage the establishment of enabling environments, right? When we have enabling environments, the issue of gender preference in terms of support will not become an issue.
These women entrepreneurs therefore use this opportunity to call for increased support from the government and critical private sector players for women entrepreneurs to enable them add more value to the economy.
For us is to make sure that we are able to create an enabling environment for women entrepreneurs to succeed, to thrive, and most importantly, to create the jobs that are required to take Nigeria to another level.
As collectives, we've taught them and we train them on issues of advocacy and communication, where they can collectively go and challenge or even access some of these services as a group, which hitherto they would not be able to do as individuals if they were to succeed in that space.
With continued support and a conducive ecosystem, experts believe the future holds a lot of promise for women entrepreneurs in Nigeria. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
The news continues in West Africa, where a colonel in the Malian army has been arrested after the release of his controversial book alleging civilian abuse by soldiers. Colonel Alpha Yaya Sangare was arrested in Bamako days after his book detailing alleged human rights violations by the military was published. Sangare's book, titled Mali, The Challenge of Terrorism in Africa, references reports from international rights organizations detailing army abuses against civilians during anti-terror operations. The release of the book on 24th February in Bamako stirred controversy within the military regime that has governed Mali since 2020. Mali has been grappling with terrorism since 2012, spreading from the north to the center of the country. The situation escalated in 2015 with the emergence of Katiba Masina, an Al-Qaeda-linked group. Let's move to the east of the continent with tragic news out of Mauritius, where 6 pilgrims lost their lives in a devastating blaze during a religious ceremony. Authorities in Mauritius reported that the fire broke out during a Hindu ritual as pilgrims were making their way to the Grand Basin Lake, a sacred site for the Hindu community in the country. The fire ignited when a wooden and bamboo cart adorned with figurines of Hindu deities made contact with exposed electric wires. The pilgrims were on their way to the Grand Basin Lake, where preparations were underway for the upcoming Shivaratri festival on 8th March. The incident has sent shockwaves through the local community, with residents gathering to mourn the loss of their fellow pilgrims. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and loved ones of those affected by this tragic event. Civil society groups in Tunisia have expressed fears that the government is set to clamp down on foreign funding, citing concerns over money laundering and terrorism. President Kais Saied has accused many non-governmental organizations of serving foreign agendas. Saied assumed power in 2021 and rules by decree. Under a draft law he supported, state authorities would have to approve all foreign funding for NGOs that operate in the North African country. However, human rights groups allege that the claim or the aim of the bill is to restrict civil society, its financing, its activity, and to limit its work to certain topics suggested by the political authority. With the country facing economic challenges and high unemployment rates, many fear that the loss of foreign funding could lead to tens of thousands of job losses.
والتضييق على مصادر تمويل المجتمع المدني فحوالي حسب دراسة قمنا بها فإنه هناك حوالي 30,000 موطن شغل سيتم فقدانه، وهذه مواطن شغل مباشرة من أصحاب الشهائد اللي يتم تشغيلهم مباشرة في جمعيات المجتمع المدني. وهذه النية تتجه اليوم إلى من خلال هذا القانون إلى التضييق على المجتمع المدني، التضييق على تمويله، التضييق على نشاطه، وحصر نشاطه في مواضيع معينة تكون مقترحة من قبل السلطة السياسية. اليوم إذا مر هذا القانون بكل بنوده وبدون استشارة المجتمع المدني وبدون التغيير الجذري في بنوده، فيكون يمكن أن نتحدث على عودة إلى ما قبل 2011 وتضييق.
On a sad note, a 7-year-old girl drowned on Sunday when a small boat carrying 16 migrants heading from northern France to Britain capsized. The boat was not appropriately sized to carry so many people, causing it to capsize soon after people boarded in the canal a few kilometers from the waterway's exit into the channel. The inland accident is the latest in a trend that has seen migrants aiming to get to Britain from France boarding boats away from the coast to avoid stepped-up surveillance there.
C'est une petite fille de 7 ans.
D'accord. Qui ont été récupérés par les plongeurs de...
Oui.
Tout le monde.
Les pompiers ont très vite intervenu. Nous, ici, on a fait le maximum. On a déclenché le plan de secours communal. Donc, on les a accueillis dans une salle de sport. Et puis, bon, ils ont pu prendre une douche. Et avec une association d'insertion ici qu'on appelle Flandre Insertion, on a pu avoir plein d'habits et puis ils ont pu se rhabiller et être au chaud. J'ai été appelé ce matin à 7 heures pour une embarcation, c'est-à-dire un petit bateau de pêche qui a chaviré. Il y aurait une quinzaine de personnes sur ce bateau. Mais sinon, c'est pas fréquent. On a juste été informé par la gendarmerie il y a à peu près 15 jours qu'un bateau avait été volé et qu'il s'était retrouvé à un bateau un petit peu plus grand. Ils avaient réussi quand même à aller jusqu'en Angleterre. Mais ils étaient certainement, à mon avis, pas 15 comme là.
The Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference tells a news conference that employment is a key focus ahead of the start of annual legislative meetings in Beijing on Monday. The CPC Central Committee and the State Council have given priority to promoting employment after Beijing reported economic growth of 5.2% last year, one of its slowest rates in decades. The meetings come as the world's second-largest economy battles a range of challenges, from a protracted property crisis to flagging domestic consumption and persistently high youth unemployment.
中共中央、国务院把就业摆在经济社会发展的优先位置，做出了一系列具体部署。各地区和有关部门多措并举，形成稳岗扩就业合力。2023年，各级政府各类资金直接支持就业创业超过3000亿元，并采取支持高校毕业生等青年就业、城乡困难群众就业等针对性措施，全年城镇新增就业1244万人。全国政协14届2次会议将于明天下午3时在人民大会堂开幕，3月10日上午闭幕，会期6天。
Now in the world of sports, defender Eyinaya Kaze scored a late winner to secure passage for Rivers United into the quarterfinals of the CAF Confederation Cup as the Pride of Rivers beat 10-man Dreams FC of Ghana 2-1 in their last group game at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. The 2022 NPFL champions were on the brink of exit in the tournament, but the right back was in the right place at the right time in the opponent's box and slotted a powerful low drive into the next to send Nigeria's representatives and the fans into wild jubilations. Despite Rivers United's sustained pressure, the Ghanaians tried to hold on for a top spot in the group, but Kaze showed up in the final minutes of stoppage to secure a 2-1 win, which sends the Nigerian club into the next round as group leaders with 12 points while Dreams FC also finished with the same number of points. Nigeria under-18 women's handball team finished second after their 22-16 defeat against Kosovo in the final of the IHF Women's Trophy intercontinental phase in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Now, despite a stellar performance throughout the tournament, having a 100% winning streak since the zonal phase, Nigeria faced a tough challenge from Kosovo in the decisive match. With a 10-10 draw at halftime, Nigeria showcased determination and zeal, but turnovers proved costly in the second half. Coach Shitu Agbola's side displayed commendable effort with key players like Amina Mohammed, Joanne Angolika Okolo, and Chidera Obusimba making significant contributions. Kosovo's Orgesa Gola stood out with an impressive performance. Next for Nigeria is the IHF World Championship in China later in the year. That's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that Nigeria, Qatar sign agreements on education, solid minerals, and others. We also told you that Nigeria begins implementation of new expatriate law. Violators risk 3 million naira fine. And finally, you heard that Tunisian government to clamp down on foreign funding. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. If you follow us on social media, we are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.